feet, and I think I kind of nudged it, and it got a little bit loose. So hopefully we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it finished the stream.
But you're back.
Am I back on YouTube?
Yeah, at least it popped up as an alert. Yeah, down to the valley. Yep, 741. Or well, no, that's the same one. Never mind. Let's see.
I think it ended the stream.
Never mind. Yeah, it ended 40 minutes.
That sucks. Let me do that again. No, it should, hold on. It shows live. No, it's not made for kids.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Looks like we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that issue. I'm like I was telling Jacob, the Ethernet cable. I'm recently moved all my the stuff on my desk around. So the Ethernet cable runs like right below my feet, and so when I moved, the Ethernet cable came out loose. But anyway, so as I was saying, so here, this is the play from the first goal. Mike, let me know where I cut off, so I can continue to talk about it. So anyway, so this is the play from the first goal, and like I mentioned, it was Adekoya who gets that header on in between two defenders, in between Adrian Dispe and Camden Riley. Now, this is the moment he crosses. If you notice, Adekoya comes in running from outside the 18-yard box in between Dispe and Camden Riley, and somehow Adrian Dispe lets that ball bounce inside the area towards Adekoya. Letting that ball bounce as a center back inside your 18-yard box is a huge no-no. And it's something that we are not used to seeing from Adrian Dispe at all. And then, as you can tell, look at Camden Riley. Like, he is 2 steps behind what Adekoya did. So he looks completely out of sync when it comes to defending. And I still think that Tyler Derrick gets a touch to that ball, because that would have been a goal for OKC Energy. And if I recall correctly, there was another opportunity that OKC had in the 13th minute that was taken by Viljan Bijev that Tyler Derrick saves. That is not in this highlight reel. So the Toro or OKC Energy was showing signs that they were going to be very lethal in the attack. And to be honest, the Toros defense could not find a way to stop Bijev from creating danger in their goal. And who was supposed to be marking him? Camden Riley and Adrian Dispe. Like I said, they were kind of off sync with each other. And it surprises me because, you know, Camden Riley in the beginning of the season, he would be playing in that right back position. So I don't know what has been happening with Camden Riley lately. And I hope he kind of learns from this experience and continue to improve, because, I mean, from what I've seen these past couple games against El Paso and against OKC Energy, his performance leaves a lot to be desired and kind of leaves a very open spot for opposing teams to be vulnerable. And remember, against El Paso, what did I say? Camden Riley was being played as a midfielder, and he would oftentimes leave the outside of the 18-yard box unmarked. So Andrew Fox or I was gonna say Santiago Chapa. That's an ex-band director that I had. Chapa Herrera would be unmarked in that box, and that's how the goal that what's his name, Solignac scored against us. What was exactly that. And in this one, like I said, Adekoya runs between Camden Riley and Arturo Dispe, and I can't really blame Arturo Dispe about this, because Adekoya is coming in from his back. And if you notice, Dispe is actually looking towards the ball as he should have. It's on Camden Riley for to not allow Adekoya to be that comfortable in going into the box, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough play right there, like you said. Just, I mean, the defense. Well, I don't know. It's just it's frustrating to see that. I think they had some right plays, but at the same time, you just, I mean, I don't know what else there is to do for that. For sure, it's just I'm kind of lost for words with this game. It's frustrating, but yes, a couple of times there was Tyler Derrick that basically helped us out, and it was great. But then at that same time, the last goal, I think, could have been stopped at times, but it's tough. I mean, that's why the Toros have gotten scored on against teams like that, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the Toros have to go back, in my opinion, and just work on that defensive pressure, and really just, I think that's what's going to be key.
How's it going, Harry? He says hello from Toyota Field. We'll catch the show on the replay. Hopefully you look at part 2 because part 1, this is the part 2 is the bread and butter. So part 1 you can probably kind of skip over. But anyway, let's move
Hello,
on.
San Antonio FC fan that's also an RGV FC fan but doesn't want to admit it.
He's a closet RGVFC fan, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Now, what Ray says is very important. He says, I think experimenting time is over. I think Warmer needs to stick to an actual game plan and not this small ball passing.
Easily, right? You said it completely. You said what I couldn't really think of saying. Because it is true. What is this? This is more than halfway through the season, and we're still experimenting with game plans. Of course, more than anything, he's been doing the same type of experiments as in he's been going back and forth, which is kind of okay. But at that same time, we need to stick with one. At this point, it is need to stick with one, and during the game, change it. It's not go with one week and then go with another week. Yes, Ray is completely correct, but I mean, I'll raise it and say, look, we do that. Plus, when we need to change tactics a little bit during the game, we're able to change tactics on a fly, and the players know.
Mm-hmm. Now, he also adds, and this is something I have mentioned multiple times as well. Mm-hmm. He says, Pimentel has not impressed me at all. And I completely agree with that. You bring in Eric Pimentel, and I feel like I'm becoming a broken record about it.
Last season.
Right?
A lot.
Right? But I don't think Eric Pimentel is coming in cheap salary-wise. And you brought him in because he has he comes in with the reputation of playing in Liga MX, playing the CONCACAF Champions League, playing the Club World Cup twice. You know, he comes in with pedigree to a USL Championship club.
Yep.
But somehow, even with all of this experience, the standout is another USL defender, which is Adrian Dispe. And that doesn't really bode well for the reputation of Eric Pimentel. I feel like, I mean, he puts in the fight. He keeps fighting, and one can definitely appreciate that he never gives up on the play.
Yep.
I'm not like he's not horrible, but he, in my opinion, I feel he does the bare minimum to kind of do the job, whereas where he should be the one that stands out the most, and maybe be the leader.
Yep.
Because honestly, I think the only thing that Eric Pimentel has kind of like stood out is the fact that it's almost every game he gets a yellow card.
Which that's not good, because you're going to get suspended. And then we're not going to be able to use you for even a sub. How ridiculous is that? Edson, he's the standout guy for getting a yellow card.
Mhm.
That means, yes, you're being aggressive, but too aggressive because you're going to get a yellow card. How about just get a foul instead? That shows that you're being aggressive, but fairly aggressive. It's that's not something to be proud about for sure. And I know I kind of took away your spotlight there for a second, Edson, but
No, you're
it's
good. You're
true.
good, man. You're
It's
good.
that's annoying. But we do like to see aggressiveness. But when you're too aggressive and you don't realize that, that's a problem because you're gonna get suspended. There's always that you rack up yellow cards that equals one red.
So I'm looking at the player stats right now, and Eric Pimentel. Guess how many yellow cards he has this season?
I'm going to guess it's double digits, so I'm gonna say,
No, no, no,
well,
no.
actually,
It's
no,
not that
double
much.
digits that would actually be a red, I believe. So no, close to it though, 7.
You're not that far off. 6.
Okay,
Followed
that's yeah.
by followed by Adrian Dispe with 4 and Adrian Vera with 4 and Juan David Cabezas with 4. In fact, obviously I'm lying actually. The player that's next to him in the amount of yellow cards, and this worries me a lot,
Oh no.
Wang Kuzain with 5.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, yes, he has had 5 yellow cards. We can count a couple that shouldn't have necessarily been yellows, but at that same time, it's up to the referee. So you just got to do better one, and
It's those 50-50.
exactly, and
So
it's frustrating.
yeah. So moving on, because yeah, it's 8:35. So this is the goal. This is the OKC goal.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat, guys. Camden Riley has the ball. Retained the ball too long. You've got BJF coming in towards him. And I believe that is number. That's the thing I hate. Kind of going a little bit off topic here. That's the thing I hate about OKC Energy's jerseys. The backs aren't flat, and then they use dark blue numbers.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, which the image quality from the ESPN Plus streams isn't really that great for USL Championship. It's not really that high definition, which makes it hard enough to kind of make out numbers from some far away. And then you add in dark blue numbers in between stripes to the mix. Yeah, it's really not a good combination. So, but I think that was Declan Winnie. I think that was 28. I believe that's 28. So Declan Winnie. So you've got Bijev and Winnie creating pressure on Camden Riley. Camden Riley tries to pass the ball to Flores, loses the ball to RGV legend Charlie Ward, who passes the ball with Winnie, passes it out towards Bijev. And look at the posture by Camden Riley here. Very unorthodox. Like he lost his balance, and those seconds were essential to give Bijev the advantage. Takes the cross over to Jaime Chavez towards the first post and just redirects it into the net. By the way, congratulations if his wife is pregnant. Congratulations on the upcoming baby, Jaime Chavez. But looking at that play, what are your thoughts on that?
Like, I mean, again, it's a giveaway. Well, what more is there to say besides the defense just not technically doing their job? And why can't now, when you're supposed to be keeping the ball, keep the ball? So it's a giveaway and straight to it. There's not that much Tyler Derrick can do. We talked about it last year, and we talked about it. Well, haven't really had to talk about it that much this year. But when you're constantly the last line of defense, you're going to make a mistake. And sometimes you're not going to be able to save the shot because it's a great one. So, I mean, it's frustrating, just terrible, terrible judgment from RGVFC, and defense needs to do better to really help it out. Of course, you can't just backtrack constantly, but can also give away possession constantly in midfield, and we've seen that time and time again. I think I can go back to the start of August and almost the start of July, seeing
Mhm.
that a lot more happen near midfield.
Now my question is, why was Carter Manley benched? That's my question.
Yeah, obviously, we don't have that answer.
Because Carter Manley didn't have a bad game against El Paso.
No,
Camden
he had a
Riley
great
did.
game.
And yet somehow Camden Riley gets a start over Carter Manley. I would like to know what his thought process was for that. Because to me, coming from a guy that's just sitting on his arm on his sofa watching the game, or in this particular case lying down because the game was giving me a headache, probably from all that stress. That's what I saw. I see Camden Riley struggling out there, and you have Carter Manley on the bench. It's like, how?
Yeah.
And that's another thing, man. I feel like the defensive line has been very it hasn't been consistent with continuous change here and there because of injuries, because of tactical decisions. I mean, like I said, we've played line of 4, we've played line of 5. We had Adrian Vera playing as a as a left back, playing as a left wing back. Now you have Roberto Albuquerque. You've had Grant Robinson. You've had Camden Riley as right back. Sometimes Camden Riley as a center back. So much position movement all around. Whether I don't know, like I said, I don't know exactly why. I don't know what Wilmer's trying to implement. If he's trying to kind of plan for next year to see what works best. I honestly don't know, and I don't think we'll ever get the answer. But these are questions that us as fans kind of are probably thinking inside our heads, and we would like to know why. And I wish I had the football knowledge, the soccer. I sound like a Euro snob, I swear. Please, the next time you see me, Jacob, slap me. Because
okay, Saturday, get ready for the biggest slap of your life.
Hey,
you across the face.
and you know what? I'll post it on Twitter. We'll do it live on Twitter.
There we go.
But yes, as I was saying, there's been a lot of movement in the defense. There hasn't really stability in the defensive line, and it shows. I mean, you see Camden Riley being lost. I think the only thing that has been relatively consistent has been the center backs, Adrian Dispe and Eric Pimentel. Occasionally, when Dispe would get hurt, obviously you bring in someone else. But we know that the two starting center backs are going to be Eric Pimentel and Adrian Dispe. So that's the thing. Now, moving forward to the play of the goal. You see Rodrigo Lopez from behind midfield. Surprisingly, OKC in that particular play didn't go with the high pressure. So that gave Rodrigo Lopez enough time to look up, try to see who was around him. Goes for that long ball towards Vicente Sanchez out on the left side of the field. Christian Sorto coming in from behind unmarked, goes past the defender really easily. Like he wasn't really planted on the ground to be able to confront Christian Sorto's run at all. He left him way off balance. But he takes that ball towards the touchline, crosses the ball back to Elvis Amo, who was unmarked as well, for the equalizer. And this was just 4 minutes after OKC Energy had scored their goal. So you can see right there. So Vicente Sanchez, with all of that experience that he has, grabs the ball and kind of like bides his time to allow Christian Sorto to come up and kind of provide an escape route for Vicente Sanchez. He does, and like I mentioned, and let me go back to the video. With just one little move, he goes past that center back, takes and then crosses it in towards Elvis Amo. Bad defending there by OKC Energy, but why? because that long ball from Rodrigo Lopez caught OKC off guard. When you're playing with short touches, look. Okay, so look, see right there. There's another long ball towards Elvis Amo, and that hit the crossbar. But you notice what I'm trying to say, right? OKC, when the Toros played the long ball, looked very vulnerable out there, and yet somehow the team did not see that and just kept on going with the short passes. When you play with short passes, especially with those, because it's one thing to play possession based, but possession with purpose, right? Where every pass that you make is intended to create harm. Whereas the Toros, to me, felt like they were just holding onto the ball for possession's sake, and that allowed OKC Energy's defense and midfielders to kind of settle down, close down the spaces, and then when you couple that with high pressure, well, that creates, the perfect storm of losing balls in the midfield and getting you caught out of position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's tough. Just I really don't know what to say too much with that. It's just frustrating. Yeah, you can't be doing that too much for sure. And we'll see what we get to see this next week, but for sure, just like I said, I think changes need to kind of be done, and this time like permanent changes, and not necessarily for RGVFC to just, I don't know, keep giving plays up like that for sure. It's one of those things.
And then we come towards the play for OKC's final goal. And this, I believe, came off of a throw-in, if I'm not mistaken. Now, here, this is one of those moments where, first of all, I feel like Roberto Albuquerque was a little bit too centralized. However, I do see his thought process of being located there because of this particular player that's right at the corner of the 18-yard box. But then again, you have Rodrigo Lopez taking care of that right back for OKC Energy. So Rodrigo Lopez has that player covered, passes that ball back, and there's James Murphy right there as well inside the box. Roberto Albuquerque goes up to create pressure, and then Alexis Cerritos, which I gotta hand it to him. Okay, he did what I would have said like he should have done, which was help out to defend, create pressure. And the rebound, and it was just an unlucky rebound that gets straight towards that player that was out on the wing, and you see that I believe that Eric Pimentel and Dispe, of course Pimentel, Dispe, and Manley, they all position him onside. So, went too far back. So that cross is made. Let me grab that player's name. I believe it was Hiroki Kurimoto gets that shot onto the goal. It bounces off of Adrian Dispe. But here's my biggest gripe, guys. Where is the midfielder to cover what's his Arun Basuljevic? Who's marking him? Who's waiting for the rebound? Nobody. And that leads to the second goal. How many times have the Toros defense done this throughout the season? It's not the first time where they fail to look at where their opponents are positioned on the field. And by the time Carter Manley reacts and gets there, it's already too late. He already got the shot in. And you can say all you want that maybe it was Tyler Derrick's fault. To me, it's not, because that ball was an awkward shot, number one. So you're not expecting exact 100% how that ball's going to go. You don't know if it's going to go fast. You don't know if it's going to bounce up, you know? And let's be honest, you have to remember that as goalkeepers, especially tall goalkeepers, it's a lot harder to throw yourself down to ground level to try to get a ball, to try to save a ball, than if it was coming through at mid level. So I don't place the blame on Tyler Derrick there. However, I do place the blame on the midfield. Cerritos did what he had to do, so it's not on him. But why were two of the midfielders, James Murphy and Cerritos, why were they in the same general vicinity? And Babu Jai?
Yeah.
He was inside the box too. He was, I believe, who is he trying to guard? I think he was the one. Yeah, he was the one guarding Kurimoto. What was he doing there? Why wasn't somebody else guarding? Because look, your three midfielders are there: James Murphy, Cerritos, and Rodrigo Lopez. If you can see, but you can understand why Rodrigo and Cerritos were in that area. That's the general vicinity of where they are located position-wise, out of the left-hand side. So they were where they were supposed to be. But Babu? And maybe the blame isn't on Babu. Maybe Babu, he had to guard Kurimoto. Okay, I'll give you that. But where's everybody else? Where is the leadership, the leadership from Eric Pimentel? Where is that experience to the awareness of seeing who is left unmarked and positioning yourself to at least be a disturbance so that they can't receive it as freely as Vasiljevic did right in that play?
Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating. And yeah, it is on the midfield. You said it all, Edson, of course, with the two midfielders that were just, kind of lost. And that's what has started a lot of these goals for visiting teams is possession in the midfield, whether or not they can get through our midfield. If they can, our defense is kind of left alone, and it's tough for them to backtrack enough to get back into it. There's not much, once again, that the keeper could do. So, yeah, it's frustrating. It's just, I don't know. I don't have answers, Edson. And it's one of those situations that needs to be fixed fast.
I definitely agree, man. And it's just frustrating to see this. And I know I'm probably gonna get some slack somewhere within the organization. Be like, what does this guy know about about playing soccer? He's never played professionally. And like I said before, I'm not offending. I don't feel like I'm being offensive in the way I'm pointing this out. I'm just pointing this out what I'm seeing out here on the screen. And let's be honest, the fact of the lack of awareness from the defensive line and the midfield line is it's too obvious to not point out.
Yep. And
I think, if I want to be frank, James Murphy should have been in that vicinity. That was his vicinities. That was where he should have been. But the game was that particular play was too complicated. I mean, hindsight is 2020, especially when you play stop, play pause, rewind, and look at it multiple times. At the time of play, like, it's microseconds. It's not where you have to make a decision. So, I mean, I could jump on my soapbox and say all I want, but at the end of the day, like, it's the player's decision. But it just strike me odd at how free Vasiljevic was. Mm-hmm. And then to finalize this game, just wanted to point out, I felt like at the last minutes of the game, I sensed a lack of urgency on the Toros. When you were in stoppage time, you're one goal below. The same lateral passing, and by the time they tried to get a cross into the box, the defense was already all set and closing down the spaces. There was a lack of urgency, and I called that in this game the Toros were very sluggish. Why? Is it fatigue? Is it this? Is it having to deal with the injuries? I don't know. Only the players and coach Cabrera know. You know, and I honestly just don't want to be here, spewing all this observations and make it seem like I think that this team is the worst in the world. They're not, you know, but I wouldn't be doing my job uh, and not pointing this out. And this is something I think the fans kind of would be cool for them to know about and kind of see the game in this aspect as to why this team is losing. And I don't have all the answers. I wish I could, but I don't have all the answers as to why exactly this team has gone into this particular slump. I mean, we've mentioned maybe some ideas as to why, this team is in a slump. The lack of consistency when their formations, their tactics, their personnel because of injuries, uh, tired legs, so it's up to everybody's analysis and discretion. Like anybody can have a completely different opinion, and that's perfectly fine. And in fact, I would be love to hear y'all's opinions, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, or even here in the chat. But yeah, that was pretty much the OKC game. What are your final thoughts about this match, Jacob?
I mean, it's frustrating to come back with another loss with a team that they could have beaten. Lots of things that they could have changed that could have been better at the end. Just, I mean, it's rough. We say this because we want this team to still be great, having a chance at the playoffs. Now it's really, for me, looking like I don't care for a home playoff. I just care for a playoff spot in general. Just at least be able to keep it.
Harry brought this up during the week, this question, and I do want to get your thoughts.
All right.
The original question was, what would be more heartbreaking? San Antonio not making the playoffs for San Antonio fans, or RGV not making the playoffs for RGV fans? And it came into discussion the fact that originally, at least in my
Yeah.
opinion, I didn't think that this team would make it to playoffs. Right now, we're in a playoff position. Uh, how heartbreaking would it be for you, or what would you? I don't want to say what you would have preferred, but what would have hurt less for you as a Toros fan? Not
Well,
making not having a team that was good enough for playoffs to begin with, or
mhm.
having a team that was in position to make to the playoffs, go into a horrible slump at the end, and not be enough to make it to playoffs.
Easily, for sure, what would hurt more would be the second answer, because we've been in playoffs since the start of the season. You win your first ever home opener to start off the season, then go on a hot streak for an undefeated season. Tyler Derrick's impressive. Everything is looking up, and then everything falls down and becomes a bit of a fire. That's terrible. That's worse. Is being 5-0, having everything go your way, and then all of a sudden you can't make the playoffs. That's definitely worse. That's definitely more heartbreaking. Because if we had a team that wasn't, enough for the playoffs, it's not that big of a deal, because we all knew it was Wilmer's first year, and he's going back to second year to make this team even better. So, yeah, it's definitely worse having a team that is capable and ending up missing the playoffs.
Here's my next question: is it too early to sound the alarms?
No, it's not too early anymore because it's past halfway. If it was halfway, it was too early. But now it's a little bit past halfway. You're getting into those games where you almost must win to just make sure to be in that top 3, top 4 spot. It's a bit, yeah. It's time to sound the alarm. Just lightly to say, hey, look, warning, we're gonna miss the playoffs if you keep this up. Stuff's got to be going on inside their head, saying, look, got to focus. and get back to winning form, because this is a little bit too much.
Yesterday, I was asked by the guys from the Striker Tejas podcast. They asked all of us to give our predictions of who will make it to the playoffs. Guys, I put RGV as fourth and this game against Loudoun United is going to be key. If they can't win against Loudoun United and San Antonio wins, that's going to catapult San Antonio above us.
Yep.
And if San Antonio gets on a hot streak, which it's long overdue for them, it's going to be hard to get them out of that third spot.
Very true.
And it could even be possible that they can even make it to the second spot. Who knows? And New Mexico isn't that far behind. And if that happens, where the Toros drop in fourth, you got to be careful with New Mexico too, because we still have to play against them twice or 3 times. No. How many times do we have to play New Mexico United still? I think 3 times, right? Another one at home and 2 away. They're going to be they're going to be a direct rival in the search for playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't get wins on baseball fields, and if we can't get wins at home, which has been the issue in this month of August, guys, I don't want to say it, but there is a high probability, or not a high probability, but at least a medium probability that this team might miss the playoffs if they don't get their act together.
Yep.
And it sucks. Like, it really sucks to say it, but we have to call it what it is. We have to call a spade a spade. This team hasn't been performing. The other teams have kind of woken up, and that's really not a good combination. We had a good lead in points against San Antonio. Now they're only 2 points behind. A win catapults them over us. This game against Loudoun is key. And I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope they wake up, and I hope they at least challenge for that second spot against Colorado Springs Switchbacks. And I would be happy. I would be happy with just making it to playoffs at this point, because I know this is a rebuild season. But there's a lot to improve, and there's that nagging thought of, if everybody else wakes up and the Toros still end up struggling. I mean, let's be honest, guys. We've only won twice against Copa Tejas teams. Everything else has been draws and losses. So we haven't been able to be dominant within our own state. That San Antonio already passed us in that Copa Tejas. We already eliminated anyway, and we all know that El Paso's going to take that. But it is kind of worrisome that we can't be dominant in our own Texas team. That even the Austin Bold, who's struggling, we couldn't beat them.
Yep.
At all.
I mean, it says a lot. It's time is now. The time is now, and RGVFC, they could be the heartbreak kid, or they could be the kid that shows up everybody.
So, looking forward to Saturday's game against Loudoun United. What is your prediction, Jacob?
Prediction for me is going to be, I think it's going to be a draw at 2-2.
Okay. For me, so I'm looking at the standings, and I know it's really not could not probably be a true reflection of the team, but this isn't even right. So I go into Google, because they actually have the correct standings with the divisions. Unlike, it'd be ironic that the USL Championship website, the standings page, is not in the correct format. It still has them as Western and Eastern Conference. So Loudoun United is in last place in the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division with only 10 points. This has to be a game where we have to win. The rival we're going up against, I don't want to say it's a minnow because it's very disrespectful, but it is an easier target compared to what we're used to playing here in the Mountain Division. Mm-hmm. This has to be a must-win game. If we can't beat Loudoun United at home, then it's really time to sound the alarms.
Mm-hmm.
But my prediction is going to be 2-1 at the death, and Loudon is gonna give us a scare.
Yep.
But I feel like the Toros can win this. But so bold prediction, Jacob.
Bold prediction. I'm gonna say that there was 9 goals combined. RGVFC ends up winning 6-3 in the offensive ride of their life.
My bold prediction. So I'm looking at this thing. Loudoun United has 19 goals in favor, 38 goals against. Negative 19 goal difference. We have to score more than 1 goal against Loudoun United. But my bold prediction, Loudoun United takes the win at HEB Park 1-0. And it's going to be one of those games like in FIFA where the Toros are dominating, the Toros are knocking at the door, they can't seem to get that ball inside the net. Loudoun United has one opportunity and they score that one. And they park the bus and Toros are unable to score. That's my bold prediction, guys. And I hope it doesn't happen. But guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know it was kind of hectic with the stream cutting out in the middle of the broadcast. Obviously the late start as well. And I know, Jacob, you're going to be doing a stream on your Twitch channel for fantasy football. So go ahead and invite him over.
All right, yeah. Gonna be live in about like 5 seconds, or well, when the stream ends here on the Overreacted Gamer. We're about 2 picks in, but it's still going to be a fun time, and we'll probably end up streaming even longer after that. So yeah, on the Overreacted Gamer Twitch channel, I'll also share the link on Twitter, and if you want to, of course, on Twitter, Jacob Young 456. That's where you'll be able to find the link.
And of course, Mike Reyes says RGV 3, Loudoun 1. Bold prediction, RGV runs it up 4-0. Ray says 3-3 y pasa la tragedia. Bold 2-0, but Loudoun will make it interesting and will press the living crap out of the Toros. So that's the prediction from the chat. Guys, thank you so much. I want to thank, obviously, once again, our patrons. Eddie De La Garza, Gilbert Guajardo, Harry Austin, Jeff Strong, Santos Herrera, Johnny Reese, and of course Mike Reyes as well. Thank you all for the support of the Down in the Valley podcast financially, and thank you to everybody who tuned in today. We'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. I'm just gonna play it safe from here on out, because of work. 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Will be our normal starting schedule for Down in the Valley podcast. Follow us on our Twitter at Down in the RGV, and as well as on Instagram, same username at Down in the RGV. And of course, Michael Reyes, the president of the Stampede, invites everybody who is watching right now to the Stampede tailgate starting at 5 p.m. at the HEB Park parking lot. I hope to see you all there at HEB Park this Saturday. Hopefully we can get the win. This is a must win, like I said, against Loudoun United. And as Jerson Echeverry also would say, remember when the Toros were having a slump of goals? 1 goal can open up the floodgates, and that's hopefully that'll happen. 1 win can probably get the Toros back into their winning ways and continue to fighting for the top spots of the Mountain Division. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all take care out there and drink plenty of water. Jacob, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just looking forward to the game Saturday. Must win, of course. 1 goal can open up the floodgates. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be interesting to see how Loudoun United get accustomed to the RGVFC heat, considering, well, they're from Loudoun, New Hampshire, which is up near Boston. So that's just going to be interesting. And hopefully RGVFC will eat some lobster.
Definitely. Coach also said no comments to you, Edson. No comment. But having said that, guys, we'll see y'all next week. Take care.